The following program is made possible by the friends and partners of GodQuest Ministries.
From the CTN studios of Pensacola, this is the Creation Today show with Eric Hovind and Paul Taylor.
We're excited because on the show today we've got special guest Ray Comfort, who is going to be talking about his new movie that's just being released, 180. You can check that out at 180movie.com, and I can't wait to tell you about the views on abortion that people have changed because of this movie.
It's a very exciting movie, and we want people to be watching that. We commend Ray for producing this movie. Remember that we believe the Bible to be true and scientifically accurate. We're not ashamed to say it. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to Creation Today. We are excited about our special guest on the line with us, Ray Comfort from Way of the Master. Before we get to him and talk about the new movie that they've just produced, we have a couple announcements. We're still excited about the Proof of God conference that is going to be coming up this next October, second weekend in October.
Yeah, that's October 2012.
2012.
Don't be there early, but...
And got some incredible speakers lined up for that. Of course, from Ray Comfort's ministry, Mark Spence is going to be at the conference with us.
And we've also got Carl Kirby from the Reasons for Hope Ministry.
And, of course, Sites and Bruggencate from proofthatgodexists.org. It's a conference you're going to want to check out. It's going to be in Orlando, Florida, and you can look at proofconference.com for more details.
Absolutely superb speakers that you won't want to miss. And Eric and me.
That is correct. We're going to tag along with those guys and see if we have anything to add to the subject matter, Proof of God. Also, the Genesis series project that we've been working on is really coming along. So if you haven't seen that, go to genesisseries.com and look at what we're doing there, producing Genesis chapters 1 through 3 in 3D animation format. So very excited about letting people see the creation take place rather than just read about it.
That's great. And we've got a number of DVD series coming out very soon as well that are in the preparation. So watch out for the Proof of God DVD series. Watch out for the 6 Days of Genesis series. And of course you can already get hold of the Beginning series. So just watch out for all those and make sure that you get hold of them.
A lot of great stuff coming out. Well, we are excited about having Ray Comfort on the show with us. Just a testimony about Ray. My dad knew Ray for quite a while and actually had him come out here and speak at a conference we were doing here in Pensacola. And I had never seen his DVD, Hell's Best Kept Secret. If you've never seen that, you really ought to check that out. And it was instrumental in my life in bringing me to Christ. So Ray has been a friend for quite a while, and they do some incredible work in witnessing and evangelism. Recently, though, they've done some a documentary entitled 180. And we've asked him to come on and talk about what he's doing with this film because it is incredibly exciting. Ray, thanks so much for joining us. Welcome to Creation Today.
It's a pleasure to be with you, Eric.
Now, this documentary that you guys have done is quite a bit different than anything you've done in the past. Is that right?
It's radically different. It's much better than anything we've ever done, and we're very excited about it. In fact, it went in a way we didn't mean it to go. It kind of evolved, if I may use that phrase.
Easy now there, buddy.
Well, that's the end of that interview.
Yeah, there we go.
I wrote a book called Hitler, God, and the Bible, and I said to the publishers, do you want a video to go with it called Hitler's Religion? And they said, yeah. And so I grabbed 12 pages from the manuscript and made it into a script for the movie and got a whole lot of footage from the Holocaust Museum. And after a month, we felt overwhelmed. We had too much information, too much script, too much footage. And so I said to Mark, my editor, I said, I'm going out in the streets with a camera and I'm just going to ask people about Hitler. And I found that I had 14 people on camera who didn't know who Adolf Hitler was.
They had no clue who he even was?
Didn't have a clue who he was at all. It was surreal. And there were a lot of people that wouldn't even come on camera because they were too embarrassed to admit that they didn't know who this guy Hitler was. So we had this amazing footage.
Whoa.
And then, without any planning, I bumped into a Russian Jew who had lost loved ones in the Holocaust, and his testimony was just so powerful. And then I was heckled, unplanned, by two neo-Nazis, very nasty gentlemen at two different times. So we had this footage that was just really amazing. And so then it moved into a pro-life message, which was very strange. What happened is I went my way through study of the Holocaust. I did research and I read some horrific things. And one thing that stayed in my mind was about a number of Jews that were buried in a pit after they'd been shot. And a lot of them were buried while they were still alive. And I thought, I'm going to take the camera out and put people in a moral dilemma and ask them if they would bury Jews alive by gunpoint. And so I found this guy at a local college, and he had dreadlocks. He looked really good on camera. I moved into the sunlight so there was no shadow on him, and I put him in this dilemma. I said, it's 1943, there's a Nazi with a gun pointed at your head. Behind you there's a bulldozer. In front of the bulldozer there are 300 Jews that have just been shot. Some are still alive. He wants you to get in the bulldozer and bury them alive. Would you do what he says? If you do what he says, he's going to let you live. If you don't, he's going to shoot you to death. And this guy says, oh, no, I could never do that. And I said, why? Are you a compassionate person? He said, oh, yes, I value human life. So I said, well, how do you feel about abortion? And he was pro-abortion. And I said, you're just like the Nazis. And we got into a sword fight for about 5 minutes to a point where he got angry and walked off. And I filmed him as he walked away. And I thought, this is incredible footage. And looked down and I saw the camera said, off.
Oh, no.
I had turned it off because I was in direct sunlight and I couldn't see the reflection off the camera, off the screen, and I was just horrified. So I went back about a week later and I put people in the same scenario and got some amazing footage, and then I asked one question that changed people's minds from being adamantly pro-abortion to pro-life in a matter of seconds. And we came back and looked at the footage and we thought, this isn't about Hitler's religion, this is something completely different. And we felt that God had placed something in our hands that was just absolutely wonderful. And so we changed the name from Hitler's religion to 180, and that's how it came about.
Well, that is, when people see this film, they'll see that people actually did do 180s. And matter of fact, let's take a second. You guys have a promo for this video that I'd like to show right now, just so people get an idea of exactly how powerful this question is and why they need to see this film. Let's take a look at that.
Imagine if you could change society's stance on abortion.
How do you feel about the issue of abortion?
I think in some situations it can be necessary.
So have you just changed your mind about abortion?
Yeah.
Would you ever vote for someone who is for the killing of children in the womb?
No.
I believe in someone's right to choose.
You're going to change your stance on it?
Yeah, it's definitely making me think, yeah.
I feel like it's more of a choice. Yeah, when you put it that way, it does change your mind.
Would you vote for someone who is pro-abortion?
Yeah.
So have you just changed your mind about abortion?
Yes, I have. I believe that people have the right to choose.
So have you just changed your mind about abortion?
Yes, I've just changed my mind about
So
abortion.
you're going to vote differently in future?
Yeah.
You mean that?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's necessary if you're in the situation where you can't support a child.
So you're saying that you're changing your mind about abortion right now?
Yes. Yes.
It's a woman's right to choose, and every situation is a different situation.
So you're going to vote differently and think differently about this?
Yeah, I think I would. I think I definitely would.
I'm for abortion. It's never okay to kill a baby in the womb.
Okay, so you're going to change your mind about abortion?
Yes, I am.
You're going to vote differently in future?
Yes, vote against abortion.
What was it that changed their minds? In a matter of seconds. Find out. Go to 180movie.com for details.
So what was it that turned these people around in a matter of seconds and made them realize that their stance on abortion was similar to what Ray was just talking about, putting the Jews at gunpoint and telling somebody to bulldoze them over? The sanctity of life. We'll continue this conversation with Ray right after this.
Welcome back. You're watching Creation Today with me, Paul Taylor, and Eric Hoven. And we're talking to Ray Comfort of Living Waters Ministries about the new film that they've produced called 180, which is an absolutely fascinating film.
It is.
You know, if the audience are wondering why we're talking about an abortion film, an anti-abortion film, when this is a creation ministry, you know, back in my past, I've always felt that these issues are absolutely, completely interlocked because we're created in the image of God.
That's exactly
and
right.
If we're created in the image of God, then we can't be destroying what's also created in the image of God. I'm sure you agree with that point, don't you, Ray?
Yeah, it's actually Genesis 2, I think, verse 9 or somewhere around there, where it says, if a man spills another man's blood, his blood shall be spilled, and it says, for man is created in God's image.
Yeah.
If you kill a beast, you can't murder a cow or a horse or a sheep. You just kill them because they're beasts. But when you take the life of another human being, it's murder because they're created in God's image, and it shows us the worth God puts on the human being. And when you take the life of someone when they're in the womb, you're destroying a life, and it's actually murder in God's eyes.
That's
Quite
right.
a few scriptures on that that we were looking at earlier, just how people try to justify abortion as it's not alive yet. And they try to do that with science, saying, well, it's not a human being, it's still going through the stages of evolution. Nothing could be further from the truth.
Nothing could be further from the truth at all. And what the issue is, that we're talking about the baby in its mother's womb. What is it? Is this a human being or not? If the abortionists and the evolutionists want to tell us that that is not a human being, and they want to change the language, change the rules so that they can say that that baby can be destroyed. But the Bible tells us something different. I mean, there's a few verses, aren't there, Ray, in the Bible that tell us that the baby in its mother's womb is human and is a living being at that point.
Well, continually the Bible says a woman is with child. It doesn't say a woman is with fetus. Mary was with child, and Samuel's mother was with child. So it's a child in the womb. It's just a matter of time until the DNA produces what we see as living human beings. But they say, you know, if it can't look after itself, it can't survive out of the womb, then it's not a living being. You know, for about 2 or 3 years, even up to 18 years, human beings can't survive outside the womb. It needs parents to take care of them. If a baby's 6 months old and you just leave it without taking care of it, it will die. So it's a human being, and we've got God's word on it when there's life begins at conception. And what the ungodly have is something that's very relative, and they have no idea what's going on about life and about these issues, and we've got to confront them on it and speak directly to their conscience.
Now,
You know, I'm sorry, let me just share a little bit before I forgot to mention. One incredible thing that happened when we got this footage of people changing their minds about abortion was a lady that we met named Alicia. She was in her early 30s, pretty blonde, and she was at Huntington Beach. And I didn't realize it, but when I went up to her to put her in the scenario of burying Jews with a bulldozer, 2 days earlier, she had actually been in some sort of seminar where they showed Holocaust footage, and she had seen this footage of an American soldier after the liberation sitting in a bulldozer burying masses of bodies in this mass grave, and tears were streaming down his face, and she was horrified by what she had seen and broken-hearted. And then 2 days later, I put her in the same scenario, and you can see her lip quiver as she begins to answer me. And she said afterwards, she told me what she'd been seeing about this footage, and she kept saying, boy, this has been a powerful moment, a powerful, powerful moment. And it really showed us that we were more than just doing things in our own strength. We really felt that we'd been directed by God, and He was giving us a special footage.
And this is a powerful, powerful film that I encourage people to watch. It's coming out very soon. What's the date of the release? The 26th of September? 26th,
and the website is 180movie.com, and it's free. You don't have to pay a thing to watch it. All we want Christians to do is send the link to all their friends. This morning I was looking at the video clip, YouTube clip, Charlie Bit My Finger or something like that. Do you know how many hits that thing has had? 360-something million.
Wow.
Now, I think we've got a better message than Charlie Bit My Finger. And so I think Christians should make this go viral. Just send that link to all your friends and enemies and family and business associates and say, you've got to watch this, 180movie.com.
So how, Ray, is this pro-life movie? Obviously it's pro-life. How is it different than other pro-life films?
Well, I'm very fortunate to be surrounded by a very talented production crew. We've worked on our television program, The Way of the Master, for about, 5 seasons now. And we've got a formula that works. It's very fast moving, but the thing that makes it interesting is the street footage. We've got colorful characters talking about issues that really matter, life and death issues. What do they think happens after someone dies? We've stayed with that formula, but having people change their minds about abortion on camera put the whole thing on steroids. So it's engaging, it's fast moving, it's colorful, it's good music, and when you watch it, you'll probably laugh, you'll probably cry, you may yell, but it's something you really experience. One pastor said, you don't view or watch 180, you experience it.
Yeah.
And so we think that's why it's unique. We haven't used graphic footage of scenes of babies that are cut up, which horrify all of us, and some tender-hearted people can't look at that. We've used another way of changing people's minds, and it really does work, and we thank God for it.
It's clearly an issue, Ray, that you feel very strongly about, and we've touched on that to some extent, but perhaps do you want to tell us in more detail why it is an issue that you feel so strongly about?
Yeah, I was preaching in a church, I think Michigan or somewhere, a couple of years ago, and a pastor, just before he introduced me, stood up in front of the congregation. He said, this afternoon, I'm going out on the streets and I'm holding up pro-life signs. Will you join me? And he had a church of about 400 or 500 people. And about 12 people put their hands up to say they'd go with the pastor. And I could tell by his body language he was very discouraged. So I told him a story. I said, when I was an assistant pastor many years ago, someone came up to me and said, Ray, that's my name, that's why they said that.
Yeah.
They said, you know that new convert, Fran, she's having an abortion. I said, when? They said, this afternoon at 2 o'clock. And it was just after lunch, so I jumped in a church vehicle, drove like a maniac into town all the while, saying, God, please give me wisdom to talk this woman out of this thing. Give me the words. And I ran up to the second floor of the hospital, ran into a room. She was sitting on a bed. She'd had pre-operation medication. And I said to her, please don't do this. And she looked at me and smiled. And she said, it's okay. I'm not going to have an abortion. I just prayed, God, if you don't want me to have an abortion, make Ray Comfort come up and see me.
Wow.
I didn't have to say a word. I just said, well, it's me. And I left. About 18 months,
story.
2 years later, yeah, everything comes out of my mouth is true. About 2 years later, I was at a church picnic, and I saw Fran sitting there, and in front of her in the grass was this 18-month little girl. And she was so cute. And I went up to that little kid, and I went, and I don't know why we do that to kids. No wonder they fear adults and grow up really kind of twisted. But I did that, and I looked in the face of this child, and I realized what this issue of abortion is about. This is human beings. These are lives that are being destroyed. Over 50 million Americans don't exist because someone, because they want to be selfish, has made a choice to kill their offspring. And it's something we can no longer stay silent about. So I feel very strongly about it. Even if I hadn't had that experience, I should feel strongly about this. This is the murder of human beings. We should all be horrified to a point of saying, I want to do something. And, you know, in the past, I've been kind of nervous about standing outside abortion clinics because the news media paint you as some doctor murdering, hate-filled fundamentalist weirdo, and we're kind of nervous about doing that. But, you know, this is something we can do. We can give out the 180 DVD. We're giving away 200,000 of them at universities across the country next month. 100 universities, free of charge.
Ray, let's talk about what you're going to do with the movies and how other people can get involved. We'll come back and we'll talk about that issue after this break.
Beginnings is a creation experience for small groups, churches, and individuals from all walks of life. Creation speaker Eric Hovind explores the age-old questions of life, the evidence for a young earth, and how dinosaurs fit in with the Bible. The included guide provides an introduction to each lesson, creative challenges, great discussion questions, and practical ways to apply each lesson to everyday life. To order this DVD, go to www.creationstore.org.
Welcome back to Creation Today. We're talking with Ray Comfort about a new documentary that's been produced entitled 180. You can check out the website 180movie.com to see some trailers on that and watch the video for free when it comes out on September 26th. Ray, we'd like to thank you for making that video available after viewing basically a pre-release copy of it and seeing the power of this. And obviously you've had a lot of people look at this. This has the potential to change the course of America, I believe.
I'd love to quote you on that, and I really believe that's true, because if you change someone's attitude to abortion from being adamantly pro-abortion to being pro-life in a matter of seconds, you're going to change the way they vote, and that can change everything in our nation. So we're very excited about it, and as I said earlier, we're going to give away 200,000 copies of the DVD in 100 top universities across the U.S., and we know there's opposition. People want to stop us doing that. So we'll give them a clue where we're going. We're going to 100 of the 2,500 universities, and also when are we going? Sometime in the future, so feel free to try and stop us.
And that's exactly what's going to happen, isn't it? That happened with the book that you did when you took The Origin of Species and wrote a 50-page foreword to it, basically destroying evolution, which isn't too hard to do, thankfully, since you were able to do it.
That's true. A child could destroy evolution and make an atheist backslide.
That's exactly right. So you're going to do this again with 200,000 copies of the physical DVD to give away to people.
That's right, and we want to encourage other people to do the same. You know, if you take some to a supermarket, leave them with a checkout lady, give them to your office buddies. I'm going to give 100 out to our neighbors. Just go around the neighborhood and drop them off. I mean, they only cost people $1 each for making them available at that price, and a nice jacket. So who's not going to watch a video that's got perceived value of about $10 that's been given to them? I went to a university recently, and we gave out 100 just in the shells, those plastic shells, not in a nice case. A lot of people took them. I followed them. I said, "Are you going to watch this, or did you just take it out of courtesy?" And they said, "Oh, no, we'll watch it." 9 out of 10 said, "We'll watch it." So 200 million DVDs were sold in the U.S. in the year 2010. So this is a medium people use, and we believe it's going to be very effective. So we want to encourage you. Go out to your neighborhood, give them out. This is a way to get the gospel into people's hands, to change their perspective on the issue of the Holocaust that's happening in America at the moment. And join us and do this, because it's something you can do that's very, very easy, because the DVD does the talking for you.
Yeah, now, for those of you who do not know, abortion is a real issue. When you think of the worldwide scale, in America, yes, more than 50 million have been aborted. Worldwide, over 1 billion have been aborted. And from what I understand, Ray, you might be more up to date on this, it's about 4,000 per day that are being aborted here in America.
And half of them are women, so where are the women that are standing up the rights for the women that are being aborted? Wow. You know, when Randy Alcorn saw the video a couple of months ago, he emailed me and gave us 50,000 copies of his book, Why Pro-Life. Also, other very high-profile people have commended the video, from Johnny Erickson Tartar and a lot of other people. So we're so encouraged that it's being so well accepted right throughout the body of Christ, and through pro-life organizations, including Concerned Women for America. The president also commended it. So this is just a wonderful thing that's happening. We pray God puts his hand of blessing upon it even further.
Well, like I said, this certainly has the potential to change the tide, and it's certainly something that needs to be done here in America. We realize, though, when we look at the root cause of everything going on, we see abortion and other problems in America. When we understand the root cause of that is because people want to reject God's Word. They want to reject the Bible. And the way to do that, the way to reject the Bible, is to make a God to suit yourself. I say all the time, one of the things that you say, people make a God to suit themselves. They break the second commandment and make a God that fits their own needs, rather than serving the one true God of the Bible. And so what you're doing is a way of showing people their belief in God. They do have a value, a sanctity for human life. Is that right?
Yeah, what you're saying is very, very true. You know, some people have said, this is such a good documentary. Why don't you take the gospel out and just use it as a pro-life video? And I've said, well, look, you've got more chance of flossing the back teeth of the lions at the LA Zoo at feeding time than you have of getting me to take the gospel out. Because abortion and homosexuality, all these other issues are merely rotten branches on the tree of the Adamic nature, and what the gospel does is it goes for the root.
Yeah.
We've got to take the axe of the gospel and go for the root of the tree, and that's why we've included the gospel, and this is a wonderful way to get a clear, very clear gospel message into the hands of people. And, one of the reasons we call this 180 is there's a guy named Steve who was a black-hating, Jew-hating, nasty Nazi who's blasphemous, foul-mouthed, spitting out hatred, and he does a complete change about 180 and becomes almost likable and backslides from being an atheist and questioning about his own eternal salvation.
Wow.
So you see that happen again and again. Also, he's got a nice big blue 14-inch mohawk, which makes him look interesting, and also a tattoo across his neck which says, "Tear here." So he's an interesting character.
Definitely an interesting character. Now I want people to understand you don't have to go out on the streets with a camera or something like that in order to witness to people, do you?
No, you can just go up to someone and say, "Hey, how you doing?" And when you get to know them, you just say, "Got a question for you. What do you think happens after someone dies?" You haven't mentioned God, Jesus, the Bible, heaven, hell, repentance, the blood of Christ, all these things that make people feel uncomfortable. You've merely asked them for their favorite subject, their opinion. What do you think happens after someone dies? And let them talk, and then just share the gospel as they begin to share their own thoughts. It really is far easier than what you think. And when you see it done on 180, you say, "I think I can do this." And we've actually got a 180 course where you can learn the principles, not only of talking about the issue of abortion, but also how to share the gospel biblically. And it comes with a free DVD and a Hell's Best Kept Secret DVD, a free book, and the study course. So we're very excited about that.
Excellent. What website can they go to get that?
180movie.com. 180movie.com. And they can watch the promos on there. There's 2 trailers, and then on the 26th we go live worldwide, so please be in prayer for that.
Man, that's going to be incredible.
Wow, and there've been so many commendations for this film, and we want to add ours to that, our little bit in view of that. Our ministry commends this film to you as well. Make sure that you go to 180movie.com and be involved in that.
We especially love the price. Thank you, Ray, for making that available. And really for those of you that support ministries like this and Ray's ministry, really making that possible. Well, Ray, thanks so much for being on the show with us today, and we wish you the best of success and that God would use this to glorify himself, obviously, through this film.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Well, that is our show for today. If you have questions, you can send them in to questions@creationtoday.org.
Don't forget, you can join us on Twitter and you can join us on Facebook as well. You can tune in every episode to see if we've answered your question. And, of course, all the programs are archived at creationtoday.org.
God bless.
This program is available on DVD by visiting creationstore.org or by calling 877-479-3466. To order this episode, use the item number displayed on your screen.
Welcome back to Creation Today. We are excited about our special guest on the line with us, Ray Comfort from Way of the Master. Before we get to him and talk about the new movie that they've just produced, we have a couple announcements. We're still excited about the Proof of God conference that is going to be coming up this next October, second weekend in October.
Yeah, that's October 2012.
2012.
Don't be there early, but...
And got some incredible speakers lined up for that. Of course, from Ray Comfort's ministry, Mark Spence is going to be at the conference with us.
And we've also got Carl Kirby from the Reason
with this film because it is incredibly exciting. Ray, thanks so much for joining us. Welcome to Creation Today.
It's a pleasure to be with you, Eric.
Now, this documentary that you guys have done is quite a bit different than anything you've done in the past. Is that right?
It's radically different. It's much better than anything we've ever done, and we're very excited about it. In fact, it went in a way we didn't mean it to go. It kind of evolved, if I may use that phrase.
Easy now there, buddy.
Well, that's the end of that interview.
Yeah, there we go.
I wrote a book called Hitler, God, and the Bible, and I said to the publishers, "Do you want a video to go with it called Hitler's Religion?" And they said, "Yeah." And so I grabbed 12 pages from the manuscript and made it into a script for the movie, and got a whole lot of footage from the Holocaust Museum. And after a month, we felt overwhelmed. We had too much information, too much script, too much footage. And so I said to Mark, my editor, I said, I'm going out in the streets with a camera.
DVD series. Watch out for the 6 Days of Genesis series, and of course you can already get hold of the Beginnings series, so just watch out for all those and make sure that you get hold of them.
A lot of great stuff coming out. Well, we are excited about having Ray Comfort on the show with us. Just a testimony about Ray. My dad knew Ray for quite a while and actually had him come out here and speak at a conference we were doing here in Pensacola. And I had never seen his DVD, Hell's Best Kept Secret. If you've never seen that, you really ought to check that out. And it was instrumental in my life in bringing me to Christ. So Ray has been a friend for quite a while, and they do some incredible work in witnessing and evangelism. Recently, though, they've done some a video, a documentary entitled 180. And we've asked him to come on and talk about what he's doing.
Reasons for Hope Ministry.
And, of course, Sites and Bruggencate from ProofThatGodExists.org. It's a conference you're going to want to check out. It's going to be in Orlando, Florida, and you can look at proofconference.com for more details.
Absolutely superb speakers that you won't want to miss. And Eric and me.
That is correct. We're going to tag along with those guys and see if we have anything to add to the subject matter, Proof of God. Also, the Genesis series project that we've been working on is really coming along. So if you haven't seen that, go to genesisseries.com and look at what we're doing there, producing Genesis chapters 1 through 3 in 3D animation format. So very excited about letting people see the creation take place rather than just read about it.
That's great. And we've got a number of DVD series coming out very soon as well that are in the preparation. So watch out for the Proof of God DVD.
The following program is made possible by the friends and partners of GodQuest Ministries.
From the CTN studios of Pensacola, this is the Creation Today Show with Eric Hovind and Paul Taylor.
We're excited because on the show today we've got special guest Ray Comfort, who is going to be talking about his new movie that's just being released, 180. You can check that out at 180movie.com, and I can't wait to tell you about the views on abortion that people have changed because of this movie.
It's a very exciting movie, and we want people to be watching that. We commend Ray for producing this movie. Remember that we believe the Bible to be true and scientifically accurate. We're not ashamed to say it. Enjoy the show.